I guess if we ask for comments, we should be like super happy when we get comments. And we've had some pretty cool ones in the not so distant past, including someone who really liked a mix of content where we've got, we do retro gaming stuff, we talk music, take on the issues of the day, and he was nice and complimentary about that, which made Dr. Mike and I feel good. And then there were some recent comments that I got to own. There's at least one I need to own a little bit, which we'll get to. Uh, and there's one I'm not going to own unless Mike tells me you need to own it. And then there's another one. So we just thought we'd do a quick show here on some recent
Are you
comments.
talking about the one about the patriarchy?
That's for a different. That's a issue show, Mike. We won't be covering the patriarchy in today's episode. But we did. There's just so it's just like pretty recent comments, and that we wanted to just kind of address. And I'm not gonna. If you go to our channel and you look down the comments, you can see who posted it. I'm not going to give kind of the poster's name because it just feels like I'm outing, even though we're not really outing anybody here. But I just um,
No, I don't even see these as necessarily negative. I'm just happy to address them. Anytime we get any sort of interaction, I'm excited about it. And it's cool that we can come back and do something like this. We get that feedback from you guys and we can just, reach down into that sack and unload on you.
yeah, and I guess it wouldn't be a particularly interesting show if we did a show on the one who goes, I really like your guys' content. We'd be, yeah, we really like our content too. I don't
We
think that's,
are awesome. You're
yeah,
right.
you're right, super good. Yeah, maybe not. All right, we're gonna start off, and this one uh, came in, and it was about the. Actually, I was trying to do these in sequences of the show. So the oldest show, I believe, would have been when we were talking about the Fusion, the Doom Fusion project, Sega Fusion, where taking the 32X upgraded version of Doom and now incorporating uh, Sega CD
Sega CD.
capabilities so that you get more levels, more graphics, all that kind of good stuff. And the comment was, "You clearly know this is now Doom Fusion. You clearly know this is now Doom Fusion, maybe not Doom Fusion. You clearly know this is not Doom Fusion. It has nothing to do with the Resurrection, separate project, same team." So I will. So this is the one I want to own a little bit. Is that I think Mike probably has a very crisp understanding of the separation of the projects and Doom Fusion and where that fits in versus other things and all that. Prior to this show, I didn't dive as deep as I needed to get crisp on that. So I would admit to, and I probably made comments during it that indicated a certain level of fuzziness I had, but between the various efforts and the project team. So yeah, that's on me. So I was fuzzy, but I have a hunch maybe Mike wasn't. But I'll let you
Yeah, I
speak
was
to
gonna say,
yourself.
I reading this comment, I don't remember us confusing the two. In fact, I think pretty much what I had said is that I hadn't played it yet, but I'm hoping that this kind of becomes because we were talking about how Doom Resurrection took the 32X version of Doom and made it what it should have been. That unfortunately the kind of slapped together thing that Sega just rushed out of the door. It still ended up being one of the better ports of the time, but it could have been so much more, and it was just because of them rushing and cutting corners that it wasn't. And that project really showed that off. So it was kind of like a bittersweet victory for old school 32X fans like myself. So I was kind of I what I was saying was I was hoping that this would now become at least a glimmer of what Doom Saturn should have been. Because Doom Saturn, so for anybody who doesn't know, and I'm not a programmer, I couldn't explain the minutia of it to you, even if I wanted to. But basically, the Saturn is based around the same core processors as the 32X. It's just like higher end and it has a bunch of other stuff going on. So it's like a supercharged 32X essentially. So everybody just kind of thought it would be even better. And it doesn't run as well as the 32X version. And unfortunately, that's because, and id Software has taken the blame for this. I'm not sure when they initially came out with that, but essentially, it was supposed to be a port of PlayStation Doom. And the company that was handling the port made their own engine for it. and id Software was concerned about warping. So they told them they couldn't use their own engine. They had to use the 32X engine. So the game, and again, I'm just oversimplifying this. The the PlayStation version was at least in part a port of the Atari Jaguar version, which they were now downgrading to the 32X engine to then upscale port over to the Saturn. It's just a mess. And honestly, it's kind of surprising. I always think of it and explain to people like it's making a copy of a copy back in the photocopier days. That's kind of what it looks and plays like, to be honest. So it's really disappointing that the more powerful 32X didn't give us a better game and actually gave us a game that runs worse. And there's tons of great first person shooters on the Saturn, so it didn't have to be that way. It sucks. So I think the point I was making, at least on that episode, was I hope this will give us at least a glimmer of what could have been had they really done the Saturn version the way they should have.
Yeah, and I kind of remember you going down that road, and I also kind of remember I was murky on a few details on the separation of projects. So, like I said, gotta kind of own that in terms of that process. So we'll jump to the next one, which had to do with more Doom, Doom 64.
That's going to cut it. We talk about Doom a lot, so comments, good or bad, a lot of times they're going to be about Doom.
Yeah, yeah, and people are passionate about Doom, and we like to kind of engage with them on that. So keep the comments coming in. So this one was nobody is modding Doom 64? Question mark, question mark, question mark, LOL. Try updating your remaster version with the reloaded version available on DB Mod. That mod has taken me, so apparently this is the person who's done the mod. That mod has taken me 5 years to make. There are many custom mods out there for Doom 64, Reloaded, Unmaking, Beta 64, Ethereal Breakdown, and more. So I'm gonna let you start on this.
So for this one, because when I saw this comment, I didn't think we had said that nobody had modded it. So I actually went back and rewatched this episode. We didn't say that. I can definitively tell you that's not what we said. What I said, so I'll take the blame for this one, is that it doesn't seem like there's the same scale of modding that there is for just Doom. And I still stand by that. Although I didn't know about your mod, and that's awesome. I can't wait to go and play it. So it's cool. Like I understand that you're passionate about this. So, and especially as somebody who made like I'm passionate about Doom too. And especially as somebody who's made a mod for it, of course that's how you're going to take what we said. So I totally understand that. I don't take this in a negative way at all. Even if it was meant that way, I don't know. But it's actually not what we said. We just said that there wasn't the same level as you see with other versions of Doom, and that this, especially when it comes to porting Doom to everything, since that's a thing now, is making Doom run on anything you can imagine. So it was what we were talking about in that video was that somebody had ported Doom 64 over to Sega. So what I was saying was that I hope that opens up the door that we see even more of that stuff. So it wasn't anybody saying your mod isn't good or doesn't count or doesn't exist or any of that kind of stuff. Not at all. We were just saying there's a discrepancy between Doom mods all the way up here and Doom 64 mods, which I stand by.
Yeah.
So I hope that clarifies what we were saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, part of it is it was a heck of a lot easier. The number of people that could crank out an interesting Doom or Doom 2 mod compared to the number of people that can pull that same thing off for Doom 64. I think the hill's a lot. I think it takes more talent and skill for the Doom 64 to do it than on the original Dooms. So there's that piece of it. The earlier one's a little bit less complex to mod. Not that any of them are necessarily easy, depending how fancy you get. But yeah, and just from a sheer volume standpoint, because it was just, billions of shareware versions of Doom out there, people doing mods off of that versus the Nintendo 64 market, while large-ish sort of, wasn't obviously didn't compare. So just sheer volume, yeah. I mean, it's pretty, and also they're the ones that typically get all the press and awareness. Like you talk about, you're pretty plugged into this stuff, and you were unaware of this mod. We really appreciate him sharing the information on it because it is definitely a mod. I think we're both going to try out, and
Yeah.
so
And
that's
we,
pretty
and
cool.
to Kelly's point too, we brought that up in the video too, that it's again not a programmer, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine it's easier to mod the original PC Doom than it is Nintendo 64. Because I I I think just in general, and really correct me if I'm wrong because I want more games. I think just in general, there doesn't seem to be a lot of like homebrew and aftermarket stuff for Nintendo 64 full stop. Like there's some, but there's not a lot. And I know there is mods of games and stuff like that. And there is great games like Xenocrisis that have come out for it since then, but it's just not the same level as you see with other systems, and particularly with Doom. I don't know how many mods there have been made of Doom, but I would, if I were a gambling man, would bet everything on there's way more mods of OG Doom than Doom 64.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Last comment we're gonna address here. I'll take this one as the lead. Ew, AI thumbnail, comma reporting. So so this was a thumbnail for our uh, the NES Punk video that we kind of went through, where he was reviewing bad Nintendo 64 games, and we were kind of weighing in on whether we agreed or not. Major disagreement on Scooby Doo. That
I think that was the only one where we actually really disagreed with him
Yeah,
though.
I think so. And yeah, and then none of this comment wasn't even about the content. It was the thumbnail. Um, and again, this is in the correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think using an AI thumbnail is reportable. You know,
Well,
I
so yeah, I had two big things where as soon as I saw there was a comment on there, I was like, I'm about to fight somebody over Nintendo 64 Scooby Doo because I just assumed that's what it was. Because honestly, when we were going through the video, while we joked around like we're the only experts on Nintendo 64, we actually more or less agreed with all of his picks. So it wasn't, it was all kind of tongue in cheek, except for Scooby Doo. I completely disagree with him on Scooby Doo. Fight me. Not him, but like just anybody. So I was prepared to go to battle with somebody over this. And then it was that comment. What a waste. Also, report what? To Kelly's point, I don't think there was anything like offensive in there. Like, unless you hate pandas.
yeah, yeah, that we
That's
yeah, or really disagree that Scooby Doo is a good game, and the fact that the panda is holding the Scooby Doo game in between his
yeah.
paws
Maybe that's
uh,
what it is.
with
Maybe he was like
ample.
a real panda would never play that game.
Yeah,
Pandas hate Scooby Doo.
yeah. I mean, I guess it could have been read a couple ways. I read it as, well, you can't do AI thumbnails, and I was like, you can't, because geez, half of the YouTube
I
help
was gonna say like
software out there
the
goes, would you like me to generate you a thumbnail off of AI? We've actually used, I think, one of those over the time. We've not really done too much, but I'll jump out depending on what it is, because oddly enough, there aren't a lot of public domain ready videos of or images of a panda reviewing a video game. I've just not found a lot, so I needed to.
well, that guy's right. Pandas don't play Scooby Doo for Nintendo 64.
Yeah, so
So
again, if that was his point, okay, but I don't know if it's reportable. I don't know.
yeah, it's still not. Listen, I get it that you don't like that game. I do. You can't report me to YouTube for that, especially when you're wrong.
I'm still thinking it's about the use of AI, which unless I missed the memo, um, you can use.
That's
But
100% not against any sort of
yeah,
rules. There are
based on
entire channels based around like how to use AI prompts and things like that.
yeah, so I don't know. So these are so we one first and foremost, we really appreciate anybody commenting, whether it's to say something nice to us. Always open to those. That's always great to hear. But otherwise, if we got something wrong or you disagree with us, like at least to varying degrees, some of these comments were, it's awesome to hear. We're glad you at least watched some of the video. And if there's some place, and we actually ask in most of our videos, hey, if we're wrong on this, let us know. So thanks to everyone who does comment. We do appreciate it. And
Yeah,
just
thanks to all these three people, except for that guy who obviously clearly is harboring a resentment towards Scooby Doo, and it's a great game.
yeah. So well, welcome to my world. AI thumbnail poster.
You know what the problem is? Guy who left the AI thumbnail comment. You didn't watch the Scooby Doo video that I sent Kelly a while back with Velma and Daphne. I'll send a link your way. It's gonna turn you around. Trust
Yeah, don't do that through the channel.
me. All right, never mind. Hit me up, message me. I'll send you the link.
That's it. Well, again, we appreciate the folks that do comment, like, and subscribe so you can leave comments. We'd appreciate that as well. And we'll catch you again soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.